Let's talk to Dr. Mike Jones. He's Executive Director at Migration Watch UK. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Julia.
Thank you so much for joining us. Let's just touch on, first of all, these new detention centres, another 300 million quid. I mean, if it's barges, it's RAF quarters, it's hotels, whatever it is, it's private accommodation. We are literally hemorrhaging cash dealing with this issue.
Well, yes, we are. It's a huge burden on the taxpayer. We're spending 3.6 billion on the asylum system every year. The cost of accommodation, subsidised accommodation, is around 6 million every day and growing. The system is completely out of control, and it's not going to improve anytime soon. I think the government are concerned more with these publicity stunts, the BB Stockholm being an example of this.
I mean, it is a publicity stunt, isn't it?
Issue.
It is a publicity stunt because, we can have 500 migrants turn up in a day and that's all it's going to hold. Even if we had 10 barges, it still doesn't deal with the scale we're on. But let's talk also about, the big issues. We've got this scale of people to be dealt with, not just because more people are coming, it's that we've not dealt with or got rid of the tens and tens and tens of thousands who've arrived in the last few years. There's been an abject, just failure for the Home Office to actually process these claims. I've no idea what on earth's going on there, but the papers yesterday revealed this soft-touch approach to assessing asylum claims. The Mail on Sunday got hold of a copy of official guidance issued to Home Office staff looking at the backlog of 170,000 applications to stay in the UK, and officials have been told they cannot reject the testimony of a migrant who is caught lying. So there's proof that they're lying. You can't then go, well, this person is no longer trustworthy. They're ordered not to be sceptical when quizzing asylum seekers, including those who've come from safe countries. Asylum seekers must be reassured that they need not answer upsetting questions, and Home Office staff are forbidden from asking questions about sexual preferences or activity in cases where migrants claim to be fleeing persecution because of their sexual orientation. This is one of the latest things. If you say you're gay, you face persecution in these countries, you'll be allowed to stay. This is an absolute nonsense.
It is. It's a charter for fraud and abuse. If you're an academic studying immigration policy, one issue that crops up again and again is something they call the gap hypothesis. There's a gap between what politicians say and what they do. There's a gap between rhetoric and reality. There's a gap between policies promised and policies delivered. And this is a classic example of this. We have Suella Braverman and Prime Minister Sunak talking tough on asylum, but behind closed doors, what we see is a debasement of standards. And this is very disturbing, because what they're saying essentially is that truth doesn't matter. An attitude of skepticism, which is the basis of evidence-based policy making, doesn't matter. Asking difficult questions, which is essential for an immigration officer, doesn't matter. It's appalling, absolutely appalling.
This is down to the sort of believe every woman when she says something, she's been had her bum touched, believe every asylum seeker who says this and that. No, we want to have a fair system. The British people are a fair, well-minded people. We want to provide refuge for those who are desperately in need. But when we are looking at people coming on this grand scale and coming from France after travelling through numerous safe countries, it is reasonable to be sceptical.
It is. That should be the default position, because asylum seekers often arrive without, passports and paperwork.
Yeah.
There's no documentary evidence. We can't verify who they are, where they're from. Yeah. And there's almost certainly no third-party evidence. So immigration officers essentially have to go off what they're told. And it's essential that they look at whether the story is internally consistent, whether it's consistent with the facts on the ground, that's within their country of origin. So to suggest that you should not be sceptical, you should not be too judgmental on whether the facts are correct or not is appalling.
Isn't it? Let's face it, they can't even tell if someone's a 16-year-old or a 30-year-old. So I'm not sure we're going to trust the Home Office officials' judgments, are we? Dr. Mike Jones from Migration Watch UK.